Okay, so we have Rassie and Jacques Nienaber ready. As I've mentioned, we have issued a statement just a few minutes ago relating to the cancellation of our Sunday training session in the Bok camp as a precautionary measure. And here to answer your questions are Rassie Erasmus, the Director of Rugby, and Jacques Nienaber, the Springbok head coach. By show of hands, I will now go to Mark Gleeson of Reuters.
Good morning, Mr. Erasmus. I don't know you well enough to call you Rassie, but can I ask you, sir, how worried are you about this COVID outbreak? Could it have a terminal impact on the tour, also given what's going down in Gauteng and with anticipation of the President's address tonight?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, sorry for being a few seconds late there. Yeah, no, valid questions. But I think, to be honest with you, yeah, you can call me Rassie anytime. Valid questions, and no, we have got, just to give some perspective, we've been in camp for 3 weeks. And today is the first day that we really can assemble. If you take Regulation 9, and we can actually get our camp together with all squad members, players playing in France, players playing in Premiership, and so on. So today is the actual first day where we can actually get them in. And obviously, there's then always a chance for guys coming in from all over that there might be an infection or a positive case here or there. So first thing first, just to say and maybe answer a few other questions as well. In one breath, is that we've got 3 positive cases, as we said. All of those has to be confirmed, and there's just a protocol that we follow because we in British and Irish Lions series time now, and we fall in those protocols. We immediately advise the committee, which should look after those things, the medical committee, and we just in our rooms now currently just waiting for the next steps. I really don't think it's a big worry in the sense that it has been the first time where guys from all over has been together, and yeah, I'm fairly confident that it's an isolated case. None of them are having symptoms. We'll do retesting and listen to what the medical committee tell us to do.
Thank you, Rassie. Ken Boland, you're up next.
Thanks, Johan. Good afternoon, Rassie. Can you just tell us this medical advisory committee, presumably there are people from both South Africa and Britain sitting on it, and without trying to get the identities of the 3 guys, were these guys overseas-based players who obviously have to come through airports and that sort of thing to get here?
Yeah, okay, no, look, we don't want to have secrets there. I'll tell you, the 3 players is also, so the medical committee, advisory committee, is obviously made up of both South African Lions people. I mean, both our CEOs is on it, my CEO and the Lions CEO. And the moment we got our positive results, or the positive result of the players, and there's not one management at this stage, so that's lucky. It was late last night. We obviously informed our CEO and the committee. Our doctor advised the committee, so both sides are obviously represented on the committee, and it's a Boone Corsi and Vincent Koch and Herschel Yankee. So it's a mixed bag. Herschel is, I can't give medical advice, but everybody Herschel already had COVID this year, and Vincent is coming from aboard, and then Sabu was with us in camp for 3 days. So yeah, there's no secret or something dark or sinister about it. They're just unlucky. They reassembled here, and they're not showing any signs, and we just here in our rooms, wanting to make sure that we follow protocol and waiting for the committee to tell us exactly what they want us to do next, which I think we will have in the next couple of hours.
Thank you, Russ. Jan de Koning.
Here we go. Thank you, Rian. Rassie, yeah, sorry, it's more of a follow-up, and I'm sure most of the questions are going to center around this. In terms of contact, have these 3 players been in contact with the rest of the squad, or is everything just busy sorting out? Are you going through all those protocols and those issues at the moment?
Yeah, I can't luckily say, I'm sure my doctors and medical team and CEOs are, when you ask questions like this, they think we shouldn't go too deep into it, and I won't because I'm not an expert on this. But I can tell you that the medical protocols or COVID protocols which we follow is very strict, So the moment we reassembled at the hotel, we weren't allowed to go to our specific rooms for until we got the PCR test, and that makes it easy, So obviously, as the guys got in, everybody was following protocol just to make sure if there was a case like that, the risk is minimum. But obviously, people travel here, and there will be contacts and there will be close contacts. But at this stage, as I say, we really feel it's to the minimum. It's so easy to control because we followed protocols. When the guys got to the hotel, they couldn't even go to their rooms. They had to, because the whole hotel is sanitized and actually a zone on its own where nobody can come in and out except us. So we're staying on our own in the hotel. So yes, a long-winded answer, but obviously there would have been contacts, but I think there couldn't have been anything done differently to make that to the minimum.
Craig Ray, you up next?
Afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Rayan. Rassie, just on a technical point, how long between the PCR test being taken and getting the results do you guys generally? I mean, I know for most of us in the general population, it's 24 hours. I presume it's quicker for you guys.
Yeah, certainly. Again, and guys, you must WhatsApp me or tell me when I'm treading on waters, which I shouldn't. But it's set up, and with the medical advisory committee, and the Lions and Saru and Sares, who's running, who's running the whole Lions series. We are under strict protocols. The whole hotel, the guys are in individual rooms. We've got on-site people testing us here, so the turnaround time is still long. The guys have to wait downstairs much shorter than the general public because we know we're getting foreigners in here, which we want to keep 100% safe. And I think it was between 5 and 7 hours where the guys had to stay downstairs. So pretty quick compared to the normal people.
Yeah, but it's still not fun.
Oh, that's what it takes to play. We're willing to do that.
Thank you, Rassie. Thank you, Craig. Super Sisho, you're up next.
Hi, Rassie. Hard luck about the bad news, but is it too early to tell whether the Georgia first test will go ahead as planned, and what does it mean for the other training sessions in the week?
No, yeah, fair question. I don't think the Georgia test match, in my opinion, just from following the natural flow of how things happened and when the guys left last Thursday and the new guys coming in and who was in contact with who, we've got a squad of 45 players, especially for that reason. We've got guys playing against the Lions next week at our provinces, so we will never have not enough players to first of all play. And even if our players inside the camp are positive, we can draft a player from the outside in who's anyway on a testing regime currently with the provinces. So I really think it will be 100% bad luck, and it will probably be something more external that makes that decision. But I can't see that. We will have enough numbers. The Georgians came in today. Even if we have to pick totally a new team, there's guys at the provinces that will be fit to be available and be the Springbok team. But I'm fairly sure out of this group of 45, I think there's been very few guys that are really actually infected.
Thank you, Rassie. Percy, is that Percival Young?
That is indeed Percival Young. Good afternoon, Ryan. Good afternoon, Rassie. I'm Jacques. Rassie, kan ek dit in Afrikaans vra? Jammer dat ek dit moet doen. Net ter opsomming asseblief, Rassie, verduidelik ons net wat die situasie is. Rassie, kan ek net vra oor ek vra met my ervaring klein bietjie met ander sporte, is die spelers wat jy genoem het, is hulle in geheel, is hulle gemaklik daarmee dat hulle identiteit bekend gemaak word? Is dit iets wat hulle met hulle bespreek het? En net ter opsomming wat die situasie is en wat die pad vorentoe is. Jacques, kan ek dan vra vir jou net moontlik vra, hierdie 3 spelers wat nou wel genoem is, was hulle enigstens in oorweging gewees vir moontlik die eerste toets teen Georgië? Baie dankie.
Ja, Percy, nee, dit sal weet, ons is 'n nasionale span En ons het maar dis nie dit is soos verkoue. Die manne kan griep gekry. Dis nie asof die ouens iets verkeerd gedoen het en dis hoekom ons die name bekend stel. Jy weet die ouens kon dit enige plek gekry het. So ek dink nie daar's iets duisters of so wat 'n ou moet wegsteek nie. Ek is seker daarvan as jy nou met Sebo en die manne praat, dis maar net bad luck, jy weet jy kan so hard probeer as wat jy wil. As jy op die verkeerde plek op die verkeerde tyd iets gebeur, dan kan jy soos verkoue kan jy dit kry. Dis net obviously wat ons wil seker maak dat ons so veilig moontlik is vir die Brits en Ierse leeu. So ja nee, ons ek ken nie die reëls met die ander sportsoorte nie, maar ons is gemaklik dat die ouens dit weet. Ons gaan nie 'n probleem daarmee nie. En dan ja, Jacques, ek dink was daar nog 'n vraag by my Percy of was dit al Jacques?
Net die impak van hierdie ding op die
Ja, net die impak is basies ons sou vandag geoefen het en vandag se oefening is op hierdie stadium afgestel. Hy is afgestel. Ons almal wag net in ons kamers. Daar's 'n mediese advieskomitee wat bestaande uit leeu's mense en SA rugby mense en weet ons gee basies vir hulle die statistieke deur. Hulle kyk na na die infeksie en hulle kyk na spesifieke sake en hulle kom terug en sê manne luister hierso, van môre af kan julle normaal oefen of weet jy sit hierdie ouens in kwarantyne of doen X, Y en Z en ons wag nou maar net vir daai nuus en ons weet net die heel beste is om eerder almal nou in hulle kamers te sit en die heel veiligste wees omdat ons dink ons sal 100% seker wanneer hulle kan sê ons kan oefen, sal ons kan teruggaan na oefening toe en hopelik is dit môre. As dit nie môre is nie, dan is dit die dag daarna, maar ons het 45 spelers hierso en op die stadion is net 3 positief getoets en redelik seker of van 1 of 2 van hulle kan dalk 'n vals positief wees of dalk iemand wat 'n vorige keer COVID gehad het wat dalk net nog tekens wys. Ons is redelik gemaklik dat afhangende van obviously wat daai komitee sê dat ons week kan oefen en Vrydag gaan speel.
Ja, Percy, en jou vraag aan my was hulle beskikbaar? Ek dink die twee ek praat van Herschel en ek praat van Sebo. Hulle twee was saam met ons gewees, maar Vincent het nou eers ingekom. So Vincent het nie saam met ons gewerk nie, so ek dink dit sou moeilik vir hom gewees het, maar ons het nou nog nie die span gekies en bekend gestel nie. So dit sou moeilik gewees het om hom vir hom om in die mix in te kom. Hy moes eers deur sy mediese goedjies gaan en alles, maar die ander twee was definitief in lyn en verkiesbaar geweest.
Thank you, Jacques. I think that's an important question for the total audience on call. If I can ask you very briefly, just to translate to give that answer in English, it related to whether the 3 players would have been in contention for the first test match. Jacques, if you can oblige.
Yes, so Sebo and Herschel, they were part of our training camp in Bloemfontein. So they have worked with us a bit, so they were definitely in the mix for team selection. Vincent, on the other hand, he only arrived yesterday, so yesterday into camp. So I think it wasn't that he wasn't on up selection, but we haven't selected yet, but he hasn't worked with us for a while. So he might have been a week later, but if they were all medically fit and fit to play, I mean, all 3 of them were up for selection. But I think the other 2 definitely work with us a little bit more, and Vince wouldn't have been part for our systems for quite some while.
Thank you, Jacques. Our next question goes to Carl Fabian. Carl, are you there? Okay, we move on. You can't hear me. Then Justin Ford, you're up next.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Jacques, you guys have been in camp for 3 weeks. Obviously, certain things would have been addressed in terms of style of play and conditioning and so forth. Not being able to train today and the uncertainty around potentially tomorrow and come Tuesday, is that a bit of a headache? Because surely you guys are hopeful that you would want to play on Friday, but not being able to train today, is it a headache for you knowing that you're missing out on a particular session with the team?
Yeah, I think it's not ideal in terms of we would have loved to just go on as normal, do our normal training today and have the week flow as we would have planned it. But I think the important thing is that with COVID and with how the environment are changing, I think to be adaptable is key. So it happened. It is what it is. We want to stay safe. We want to keep our team as safe as possible. We want to keep the Lions safe, as safe as possible. So I think the key thing is to be as adaptable and have to make plans on the run, and that's what we're doing.
Rayan, can I add to that, please?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so guys and ladies, if there's on the call, I think basically if we remind ourselves that on a Friday to play against Georgia, there must be 23 COVID-free negative tested Springbok players. So although it disrupts our training sessions and surely it's not ideal, but I can remember, I think it was England who got Matthew Pratt who was positive and he couldn't coach, and I think Eddie was positive or something like that. So it's something that happens all over the world. I think Fiji with the Autumn Cup. So this is not something totally new. A lot of our players here who's played for clubs in the Premiership and who's part of provincial teams has gone through this. It's actually the first time for myself and Jock experiencing this because we haven't coached provincial or Premiership rugby currently in this environment. But I think if people just think clearly, we basically have to put 23 fit Springbok players on the park Friday. We've got 45 in camp. And obviously there's protocols that we will follow. But that's why I don't think the test match is in any way threatened. And then, it's our challenge with knowing that we haven't played for a while. And now we got some 3 proper weeks under our belts. But now, listen, the last week has been disruptive. And, we have to play it as we see and play it on the run. So fairly confident about that. Although it's disruptive, but many national coaches and provincial coaches or franchise coaches had to handle that in the last 18 months.